Hey there, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Talking to Myself, the part of the day where I talk to myself about things that I was thinking the night before while laying in bed. Shout out, of course, to my delicious shake that I'm drinking, to Saratoga Peanut Butter, Lotus Flame Candle Company. Shout out to Dorian Coleman, Lee DeLeon, J.A. Kiefer, Jason S. Mayer, Young Ansel, Cameron, I think is it Kichi that you go by on Cam Kichi? Sorry, man. That you go by on Instagram. Shout out to Michael from Insert Content, Dunkid 30 or 23. Shout out to Harold Smith. It's a lot of people, man. just a lot of people. And shout out to just everyone that communicates in the comments. The community is doing fantastic. I truly do appreciate it. If you're someone, you see someone that has something interesting to say in a comment, respond, have the conversations. That's what this whole thing's for. Follow these people I'm talking about on Instagram, not to boost them up, but just because, they're very talented people. A lot of these people are actually, all these people are better photographers than me, and so follow these people because, you listen to me for the rants, but if you want to actually learn something, follow Dorian Coleman. The guy is way more talented than me for photography. Street photography is way better than mine. He knows so much more about photography, and even more, he's just talented as hell. I'm not blowing smoke up anyone's ass. I'm being honest. The people that I surround myself and I talk to, the benefit that I have for me is they're all better at my job than me. They're like Jason Kiefer, he does portraits and things like that for families and everything. He takes better shots of me at that as well. And the benefit of that is I'm actually able to see what these people are doing and be able to learn from them. And I think that's one thing that, you guys should be very, very into, is learning from people. Photography isn't a thing where you get to the plateau and you're recognized the best and you get to stop. This should be something that you want to continue to grow in every single day and just enjoy it more and more every day, because you're learning something and you're getting better. You should be reaching out to people. You should be helping people, answering questions. You should I don't get why, photography right now, everyone's like criticizing everyone's shots and what they do and how they shoot it and their usernames and stuff like that. It just makes no sense. Even more, it just kind of trips me out. It's like the whole thing with people saying, oh, APS-C isn't professional and Micro Four Thirds. Listen, I was professional with APS-C and Micro Four Thirds. And anyone who thinks that full frame makes you, that's what you need to be professional. I said it before yesterday. If you're not professional with a kit lens and an entry-level camera, you're never going to be professional with a full frame camera with the nicest L glass or whatever glass from any other company. You're not. And people that think like that, I'm just it's just weird, because you guys are also the people that are very critical of others. You talk a lot of mess to everyone else. You're not very supportive. It's weird. And you guys will never admit that people are more talented than you. I don't mind admitting people are more talented. I don't mind admitting that Lee, my boy Dorian, follow Dorian on YouTube, Anthony from Frame.count, this guy I follow, Film.west. I don't mind Jason S. Mayer. I don't mind these people are more talented than me. I don't. I really don't. You get to learn from these people. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I am not as good at the things that I do than these people. Now, there are some things that I do well in. I learned lighting from people along the way, and they helped me. And I learned about composition and things like that, and setting up framework. And I learned from my grandfather the basics. And there are people that helped me along the way, and they're the reason why I know everything that I know. But I don't ever want to sit here and be like, "Ooh, one of these people. Like I've been doing this for 10 years. You should listen to me." Listen, in those 10 years, it wasn't just all YouTube. Did I learn things on YouTube? Yeah. But I went to Denver Riddle School of Color Grading. I've learned from my boy Sean, from these people in my hometown. I'm not just me. I didn't wake up one day and was a natural great photographer who learned everything from scratch. No, I sit and I watch Fro Knows Photo, tutorials on stuff. I sat and I watched The Art of Photography. I watched, just hundreds of people on YouTube, and then I had so many people in my face trying to help me out. That's what it takes. But for some of you guys, man, you hate to see other people successful. I love seeing people have success. I love seeing people be recognized. And you know what? It shouldn't bother you, and you shouldn't be thinking, oh man, that should be me. Because if you're thinking that, that should already tell you you're not good at what you do. And maybe you should suck up and learn from these people because you're not that good. The moment you start thinking that should be me, look at what I've done and no one's recognized it, is the moment you should know I'm not really good at this photography or videography thing. I'm not really good at whatever it is, sports, work. Maybe I should learn from the person that's getting recognized, because there's a reason they're getting recognized. You know, we just have to get a point. The community is great and stuff, man, but like if you can't admit to people like that you're not, you know, like that someone's better than you, that's weird. I think it's off-putting. I think it's crazy. I mean, like I'm not afraid to say that, you know, the people that are in my corner, the people I talk to, are better artists than me. Should that hurt my feelings? Should I be sad about that? Like I'm not getting paid to go out there and play game sevens and whatnot, or playing a Super Bowl. Yeah, then I'd be like, no, this guy's not better than me. But when it comes to something like this, where everyone eats, everyone's getting money, everyone's getting paid, why wouldn't I just have the balls to admit, you know what, I'm not as good as a photographer as Dorian Coleman. You know, young Ansel is a lot better than me. You know, when it comes to this marketing and stuff like this that I'm trying to work on the photography side with it, coupled with it, I could probably learn from Ali DeLeon. You guys got to think, man. Like, you know what? You guys are a lot of people that I see, and the negative people in the comments. A lot of people I see on Instagram is people have an opinion about stuff. I see it on Facebook. People have an opinion about stuff, man, and they have an opinion that props themselves up. If I had $1 for everyone every time I said something, people are like, "Oh, you must not know about the photography business. Tell me you're not a professional." And I'm thinking in the back of my head, dude, I've literally been in this for 10 years. Almost 10 years. Since the time I was 18, this has been what I was pushed into full-fledged, completely. I've had a camera in my hand. I've had my own camera. I've been shooting videos. I've been shooting short film documentaries. I've been doing everything underneath the sun, from real estate to commercial work, to, you know, this junk. You know, I got junk on Spectrum TV for the company I worked for print publication, to billboards, to stuff in magazines. I mean, not great magazines, but, you know, they're magazines, they're regional, you know, things like that. And it's just crazy how, you know, people assume that they know everything. And even worse, people assume that admitting that they're not that good at something means you're an idiot, or means that you know, no one's gonna respect you. What's even weirder is people will always recognize how great you are in a public fashion to look good. So, you know, it's like, you know, there will be a lot of people who will be like, "Oh wow, this is great," on a photo, let's say on Instagram, and they'll comment, "Great photo, great shot, dang man, the colors, hey, the Leica tones, hey, I wish I could do this," or "Man, you're the GOAT." But then behind closed doors, they're biting their tongue and they're saying stuff because they don't have the same work as you, and because they don't get the same recognition. That's weird, dog. That's weird. Some of y'all are goofy, like hella goofy. But I say all that to say, shout out to everyone I mentioned, those I didn't. I truly do appreciate the community and whatnot. You guys do a fantastic job at everything you're doing. And, you know, you guys are just like, you know, I seriously love looking at your photos, your images, your videos, things like that, because I learn every single time from them. And that's what it's about. It's about learning. When it comes to, if there were 3 things that I was to tell a new photographer, like, hey, you know what? These are the 3 things that you should learn, you know, if you want to be not successful, but if you want to make this a career, if you want to go somewhere with this. And this goes for videographers too. So photography and videography, there's 3 things you need to learn. Number 1, and the biggest thing, is lighting. You just got to learn lighting. You got to learn how lighting works. You got to learn how to diffuse lighting. You got to learn how to modify lighting. You got to learn, you know, different points with lighting. You got to learn how to manipulate natural light, and that's manipulate natural light, not just shoot in natural light, because manipulating it with bounce cards, with giant diffusers for a really bright sunny day, I mean, that really does help out. And I'm not saying if you don't know this stuff, you don't know anything, because I know a lot of you know a lot of stuff. But I'm just saying you can always get better. I mean, I'm still learning. I mean, I'm upgrading my light system because it's an amazingly weird thing happened to where I have $600 in my account. But, you know, I've been using the same softbox that is for my GODOX flash with a cheap honeycomb light, which is actually different. That's why it's brighter. That was $17 on Amazon. you know, off to the side over here, I've got a little bounce card that helps me fill in, you know, and it's just a white reflector that helps me fill in a little bit over here. You know, I use these lights in the back for, you know, like, you know, I'm trying some things, and I know a decent amount of light even with this cheap podunk setup. And it makes things look a lot better, because if I didn't have this, trust me, no one would be really super excited about these videos, even if you guys are super excited. So learn lighting. This goes for photography and also for videography. You need to learn lighting for your for shooting in log footage. It is the biggest deal for everyone that's like, oh man, you got to shoot log, you got to shoot log, you got to shoot log. Listen, if you don't know how to light for log, if you don't know your exposure setting for each log setting you have, if you don't know how your exposure should differ from S-Log 1, 2, and 3, if you don't know where to use S-Log or C-Log 1, 2, or 3, indoor, outdoor, ambient lighting, for indoor with natural lighting, for indoor with faux lighting, or fluorescent lighting, or tungsten lighting. I mean, it's all amazing. And listen, I'm not talking about 17% on gray and that stuff, because I don't get that. I never learned that. But you have to, I mean, lighting is the most important thing when it comes to any kind of art. Learning how to use low light to be able to get your point across, and not you know, crying and whining about, oh, this is horrible in low light. No light and low light are way two different things. And low light means low light, so your image should be able to say, hey, there was little light in this whole situation. So low light or lighting is the first thing you have. I mean, just learn that. If you can figure out lighting, and even if it just starts with outdoor lighting, and learning how to make sure you're not blown, make sure to eliminate backlighting, how to expose for backlighting, how to expose for backlight so that you can adjust in post. Those are all important things that, you know, you should learn. So number one, you know, the number one thing that I would tell people to learn if you want to get into photography and videography and you want to make this a career or something you make cash on the side, has got to be lighting. The second thing is you've got to learn how to say, I don't know. Stop bullshitting. Sorry, Dorian. Stop BSing. When someone talks to you about something, saying, oh yeah, oh I love that. Oh yeah, I know that. Or they say, hey, do you know about you, or you know, you heard that, or hey, you've used this before. Yeah, I have. Stop lying. I see it all the time, dude. People lie all the time. And you don't need to lie. People will explain it to you. Hey, you know how KinoFlow came out with these new lights, blah, 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 and you used them before, right? And you're able to, yeah, of course. Or hey, you know, you've done this, that. Like, listen, if it's to get a job that you're bidding for, that's one thing. Because, you know, come on, let's make that money. And you can always learn it on YouTube later. But at the same time, when you're talking to someone who knows more than you, stop being insecure because you don't know what they're talking about. Listen, people talk about stuff all the time. I don't know anything about any artist other than Nacho Lopez and Gordon Parks. That's it. Okay, that's it. So people start mentioning all these people, Henri Cartier-Bresson, and you know, they want to, I'll talk about XYZ guy and this and this, and I don't know much about anything. But I'll listen, I'll ask, I'll listen. People want to talk about, oh, hey, this is how I shoot this and shoot that, and I'll be, oh yeah, me too, or no, I don't know anything about that. Hey, how do you use these RGB lights? Hey, how are you flooding that? Hey, how are you doing that? How are you eliminating the crease in that? Hey, how are you doing this in Photoshop? Hey, how are you doing this in Lightroom? Hey, what are you using for your diffusion because you're outside? Like, ask questions. Don't feel dumb. The dumbest thing is to feel dumb when someone's just trying to have a conversation with you. It is okay to say no. Honestly, it might even impress them more that you're doing as well as you're doing and you don't know anything. The second thing, man, you have to be able to say, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. Can you explain it to me? Can you teach me? Like, learn to stop trying to make it seem like you're something other than you're not. It's weird. It's unfortunate. It's not even weird. It's unfortunate because it doesn't hurt anyone but you, and it really does hurt you. Also, it makes you look weird as hell because everyone can tell when you're lying. So, you know, just like, be honest. Hey, dude, I don't know how to do this. Hey, can I get some help? Or hey, do you mind explaining to me? Or hey, how did you do this? Even if it sounds dumb. I asked the same guy, Leon, on Instagram, the same questions all the time about his lighting because I'm interested. Because he takes two giant poster boards and puts a light in the middle of it, and it makes the best lighting. And he takes a giant, what is it called, for the shower curtain that's clear, and throws two lamps behind it. And I mean, the guy's just amazing. And I ask the same annoying comments and questions every single time. But you know what? I want to learn, and the guy sees it, so I don't bug him too much, and he actually enjoys talking to someone. Ask questions. If you don't know stuff, ask someone who does. Okay, you don't have to like sit there and pretend. So learn lighting, learn how to say I don't know, and the last thing that you need to do if you want to make this into something that it is, learn that when you mess up, to tell people you messed up and fix it immediately. If you're doing videography and you mess up a shot, don't be the kind of person that's afraid to say, ooh, I screwed this up. Hey, can we reshoot this? Shoot it again. Don't try to work with bad footage. When you're working with photography and stuff like that, if you've moved on from a move with a model or with the families like that, when you go back and you see, oh, people had their eyes closed, or oh my gosh, I didn't light right, ask those people to come back and say, hey, can we shoot this again? I found something wrong with it. I think we can make it better. You have to do that. And listen, you may think like, oh, he's not talking about exposure triangle, and he's not talking about stuff with glass and learning how to do this and back button autofocus. No, because you can learn that all on YouTube. Listen, being a photographer is not that hard. It's really not. This is one of the easiest things to do. The camera does everything. Even when there was film, if you knew Sunny 16, and if you were in a studio environment, and honestly, on the back of some cameras, they tell you exactly what speed, what to set everything at, so you can hit perfect exposure. It's not hard. Photography isn't hard at all. It's not, and I want us to quit pretending like photography is so hard. It's such a hard art. They have auto settings on cameras. Okay, let's stop acting. A lot of these cameras, you guys are using light meters for film. It's not hard. Stop making things like this seem like they're difficult. It's not hard. For those of you watching and you barely started photography, listen, if you want to be a professional photographer and make money on the side, it's not hard. You can DM me on Instagram and I will tell you everything you need to know. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. What's hard is getting into like news publications and things like that and getting your first wedding. But I mean, it's even that. It's not hard. It's not hard being a photographer. And I'm sorry for everyone who's like, oh my gosh, just say this job isn't hard. The things that I have to go through and the things that, it's not hard. Do you prepare? Do you have the gear? Yes. Okay, then it's not hard. Do you know what your shots are? Do you storyboard? Do you plan out? Yes. Then it's not hard. This is not hard. Stop acting like it is. It's not difficult. So guess what? Because it's not hard, if you mess up, say, hey, actually, can I do this? Can we redo this? Can we redo that? Because the more and more you pretend or like you ignore things like that and you don't fix things, people are gonna not want to work with you anymore, and you're gonna have a harder time. Like, it's important to like be able to look at your mistakes and say, oops, trust me. You're gonna want that. You're gonna want to be able to come back and say, hey, engagement couple, you know the shot where we did, there was a beautiful shot that was the one pose you really, really wanted. Yeah, I jacked that up. Do you mind coming back real quick so we can shoot that? Now, of course, you can't reshoot a kiss for a wedding, so you know, spray and pray, blast away, whatever you want to do. But at the same time, when you're staging these people, like with portraits or family portraits or whenever you have these events and stuff, you know, admit when you messed up. There was this one time I was shooting in New Mexico for a state semifinal game, and I moved positions, and when I moved positions, this team right before halftime, they converted like this 70-yard lateral play, and I didn't get the shot. And so whenever everyone's coming, they're like, "Man, did you get the shot?" Because I had the longest lens there. I was like, "No, I didn't. I didn't get anything usable." I mean, I pulled my camera up, and the ball was blocked by a few people. I didn't get it. Sorry. I didn't get it. So in preps was like, dang, man, but you're like, it's totally fine. I got some more stuff after that. We were able to get the photo from another guy who was there. Shout out Mr. Baker. But I mean, like, it's not hard. Like, and you have to be able to say, I didn't get it. There's things like that, like with a football game, you can't replay that. You can't redo that. But I've ran into so many times where people are like, oh man, I hate the shot. I messed it up. I should have reshot it. Why didn't you? They were there. Oh, I saw it and I knew I should have asked them to do it again. Why didn't you? They were there. 3 things. Learn your lighting. Learn how to say I don't know. And like, learn how to say, hey, I messed up. Can we redo this? It's nothing against you. They're probably going to be happy. They don't care. They just want it done. But I see a whole bunch of people when they're starting off, they're afraid to say that. And even worse, people when they're there for a while, they're afraid to say, ooh, I don't like this that much. And they'll just give it to their client, knowing darn well it's not the best photo. Pretty lame, man. Anyway, dude, I don't know what that rant was about and whatnot. I was just trying to be positive and everything, and I don't know. I'm having a good day. Cheers. And talking with strangers about photos, or talking about photos with strangers coming up pretty soon. So I'll be on the lookout for that next week. Have a good one.